newcomer. See how brave he is? I like that.
What's Brian?
Brian back in the corner.
Brian back in the corner?
Brian from Berkeley.
Last name.
Yeah. And Dory, right here, another new coroner, new person. Already 5 times. Yeah.
She does it as soon as she gets through.
No. Yeah. And she brought her own video camera. Mine was stolen, and that one is looking pretty good.
Looks a lot like it. Let's do Dory first.
Dory's over here.
Dory.
Yeah, come on. Round of applause for Dory. It's your out on the limb story.
Let out of the hat.
Oh, yeah. We increased your odds.
Obviously.
Everybody's here.
Okay. Out on a limb. So I'm thinking of all the stories about out on a limb and where maybe I took a risk. But mostly, where did I take a risk where it involved changing my life destiny? And there's so many of them. But one came to mind that I thought was kind of hilarious as I was thinking back to it. And it had to do with a career. I was in a corporate office where I was responsible for usually employment and helping people get jobs in the corporation. Then something happened. I don't know if any of you remember some of the 80s where we were involved with hostile takeover attempts and we lost a lot of jobs. My job began to take a different turn where I was starting to downsize. I think we called it right-size corporations. And in this company, from 275,000 employees, I had to bring it down to 75,000 employees. And the function that I was responsible for at a very young age in my 20s was of outplacement, helping people get other jobs. It was kind of a hard thing to do, especially when you're 28, telling people who have lived their entire lives in that corporation, in fact, entire communities, going down to Tyler, Texas, and finding that the majority of the entire community was employed by this corporation, and of course they were closing out. So what I recall the most about being out on a limb involving this job was after a while divesting the company and working with all the arrangements of getting people into outplacement programs and helping them find new life was eventually you start to realize that your job is going to go too. It's going to go poof. And it did. So as my job went poof, so came a roar from the peer group saying, you can't do that. You can't do that to the person who gave her life to the logo, who went out from day to day on an airplane to help people find other jobs. And that got somebody's attention somewhere in the corporate pillars of this organization. And they moved me instead of from out on the street to getting a job over to the corporate office to doing something else, helping them make managers. And it wasn't too long after that, maybe less than 30 days, I had a knock on my door, actually a telephone call in those days, and no email in those days. That telephone call involved one of the groups that we had divested to asked me if I would come lead their function. And it happened to be kind of a nicer job than what I was doing. And it felt very much like I was, if I had been married at the time, it felt very much as if I were cheating on a husband. Because my entire life had been with that logo. Well, I did go off. There was kind of a little bit out on a limb, right? You're leaving the cradle. You're supposed to go cradle to grave with this organization. But I left and I went into that organization, and 3 weeks after I'd gone into it, the person who had hired me, the CEO, was fired because he had, should we say, stretched his credentials on his resume. And they decided that the function that I was taking on had no use, that it was something, a figment of his imagination. And so I'm out there now with this dilemma. Do I stay and go with this company, or the former company had caught wind of this and asked me to come on back? That was my moment of truth. the moment that I decided, there must be something more fulfilling. And I went out on a limb and decided, no, I'm not staying here, and I'm not staying here. I'm going to go practice what I preach, what I did for 18 months, and go out and walk and see if I can find a better job, a job that was more aligned with me and to the next level of passion. Well, out on that limb, to me, is looking back and saying that was a very pivotal moment that brought me to the joy I'm at today. I have a career that I really enjoy, and I know it's because I left that arrangement. Otherwise, I so would have been there still today. And even more fun about that is recognizing that what I do right now in the role I do, in the job I do, and I have my own business, is that I do this with other people. And it feels so good to look back 30 years ago and to think how one decision of really taking, I was a sole supporter of myself. I owned a house at that time. How scary. But to actually go out there and do and walk your talk can't be anything more authentic than, what's the word? There is no word for it. So authenticity is my being out on a limb and following it. And I continue to do it today, and will continue to do it till I'm 75.
Well, having been the victim of being outsized, downsized, right-sized, re-engineered, merged in about every other phrase you can put for it, I appreciate the other side of that and how hard that is. But why 75? Why not 76 or 74? What happens at 75? If there's something magical, share it with us.
I knew out on the limb.
I knew out on the limb.